welcome to Global Outlook. I'm Mary Sitt. On today's show, we'll find out how Best Buddies can help people with intellectual and developmental disabilities form meaningful friendships, get jobs, and live independently. We'll also meet a young scholar from Indonesia studying here at HCC, and he plans to launch her own dress label. Later, a young man tells us why the thrill of race car driving is fueling his desire to become a NASCAR driver. Our first guest today is Casey Rankin, the program manager of Best Buddies. Casey, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me today, Mary.
What is the organization Best Buddies?
So Best Buddies is an international nonprofit that focuses on helping people with intellectual and developmental disabilities form friendships, gain some leadership experience, and find jobs.
So how do you match, I mean, everybody needs a buddy, and everybody wants a best buddy.
Yes.
How do you match people with disabilities with a peer buddy?
Okay, so one of our programs is our friendship program. It starts in the school level. We have programs from elementary, middle school, high school, on to college. And what we do is we take students who have an intellectual or developmental disability and we match them with someone from the general ed side of the school, a peer buddy.
In the same grade level?
Yes, most of the time it's the same grade level, depending, you know, the age range are always really close. We won't match someone like a freshman and a senior, because the idea is for them to be peers.
Right.
But they're matched in a one-to-one friendship for a calendar year, where we just really encourage them to talk to each other, you know, all the time, whether it's over the phone, texting, get out into the community, do things together, and really offer up people with intellectual and developmental disabilities to get out in their community. And
now they're that young, they're going to be with a parent when they go out, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. For middle school, yeah, obviously they have
Right.
Parent guardian and stuff like that. But our high schoolers, you know, depending on how long they've been matched, some of our peer buddies they're totally integrated in each other's families. They're best friends. They do everything together. So it's not uncommon for them to go off, you know, and go to the mall or go to the movies and just do things together.
Let's take a look at some of the pictures you brought, because you have lots of activities with the Best Buddies.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have some photos here. It's a fundraiser coming up, right? Or awareness event?
Yeah, so this is our big event coming up on April 21st. It's going to be at the University of Houston. It's called the Friendship Walk. It's definitely our biggest event of the year, and it's just a big celebration of what our students have worked for the whole year. There's tons of activities to do. We'll have food and breakfast. This is one of our members accepting an award, tons of photo opportunities that are happening. This is Watson. The Sugarland Skeeters are a really great sponsor of Best Buddies, so they come out to the Friendship Walk.
So this is like a 5-mile walk or a 5K walk?
So it's about a 1K. We keep it pretty short, and that's so when we walk through, we can do chants and we take pictures and stuff like that, keep it really energetic. This is one of our teams. Taking a photo op after they won an award. Hey, that's me. We did a competition last year for everyone who raised $25 and 24 hours got to buy a program manager in the face. So we took quite a few buys to the face just to get some more of our students.
Kids
He said they're just out there to celebrate and celebrate the friendships they've made this year. This is during the walk, so we have a bunch of different photo opportunities for them to take. So it's just some of our teams.
So it's definitely not a race, it's just a meandering stroll.
We're chanting, we're doing dances. This is Kingwood High School. They're a super chapter. They raised over $14,000 for us last year, so that's with them all of their awards. Super great.
Now, what kind of activities do they do when you're matched with a buddy? What do the two people do?
You know, just kind of anything they want. We really encourage them to match, you know, based on interests. So just for an example, one of my chapter presidents, her and her buddy went to Disney on Ice.
Nice.
Like a couple weeks ago when it was here. But other than that, you know, it's go out, grab dinner, have
whatever you do with a friend.
Yeah, whatever you would do with a friend. So it's really great.
When you first match people, it's not really, they don't know each other, right? So it's just like an assignment in a way, or a volunteer assignment.
Yeah,
do they usually morph into a real friendship?
Yeah, sometimes they do start off as strangers, and sometimes, you know, like they've maybe only met each other 2 times before. So it is kind of like that awkward getting to know you phase, getting to know each other's families. But towards the end of the year, when they come out at Friendship Walk, it's like they've known each other their whole lives. They're truly best friends, which is what we really hope for.
Is it hard for people with developmental disabilities to actually find friends outside their own family members?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, when you think of what their life is like, most of the time they're centered around immediate family members, teachers. If they have a job, maybe they have a boss that they talk to regularly, but their social network is much smaller. So that's the idea of Best Buddies, is to allow them to get out into the community and meet people and, you know, have the same experiences that you and I are having every day.
And what fears do you find that the peer buddies have before they start this program?
Sometimes I think it's just that maybe they haven't had the experience before. They're not sure, like what should I do if something happens? But that's where we come in. We do tons of trainings and seminars for our officers to, teach them, how to use people first language, what happens, how to treat someone if they have a wheelchair. So we go through all that stuff with them, and then all of it's just experience, getting out and hanging out with your buddy, and they'll tell you what they need, and they'll tell you what they don't like. So.
And they're independent enough to go out by themselves.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, with parent supervision and stuff like that, but
at the high school level, college level.
Basically, they're allowed to do whatever they feel like they want to do. I know that they have big groups of them going to the rodeo, so yeah.
So one of the missions of Best Buddies is to create a world that's more inclusive. And has that changed over the years, do you think? That are people with disabilities becoming more included into mainstream activities and events?
Oh, definitely, I'd say so. I think with, you see it a lot in our schools, and that's what they're there for, to really promote, giving people with IDDs the chance to, advance themselves in society. So making sure that, they're included with the rest of the school, that their classroom isn't in the basement. Also that, that they're just telling everyone, the need to give these people opportunities, why they should have jobs, why they should be able to have leadership experience and stuff like that.
What are the main obstacles for a person with disabilities? In terms of friendships, developing friendships? In terms
of friendships, I think it just depends on where they are with their disability. If someone has autism, obviously that's a lot of social interaction. Maybe they don't feel comfortable. Sometimes things are overwhelming. And I'd say a lot of it is just having someone reach out and say, hey, I want to be your friend. And that's the really big branch, is getting them into that social network in the first place. And then once they're flourishing, with friendship comes everything, comes confidence. So they find their voice when they find that friend that's willing to give them, the confidence that.
Now, does Best Buddies also do job training? You help other buddies find jobs?
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get that program here in Houston within the next year, but that's one of our really great programs that Best Buddies does have, is that we help them find jobs, and then once they have those jobs, we're in there helping them stay trained, helping them throughout the process. They have us for life as long as they're in that job. So.
That's great. Is Best Buddies open to anybody?
Yes, it is. We take people who have any kind of intellectual and developmental disability, people from the general public, if you want to have a buddy, if you know a school that wants to have Best Buddies programs, we go all the way from, like I said, elementary through older citizens and stuff like that.
And do you usually match boys with boys, girls with girls as buddies, or does it matter?
Yeah, no, it doesn't really matter. We tend to keep our girls with other girls and stuff like that, just because.
Other complications.
Yes, other complications. But no, but we're like I said, we're very inclusive, and the whole chapter is best friends. So.
Now, how much time do you expect a peer buddy to spend with a Best Buddy? Is there, I know I was a Big Sisters one time, and it was 4 hours a week you spend with your little sister. Do you have that kind of guideline?
There are some guidelines, obviously. Reach out to them at least once a week. Try to see them a couple times a month, just like any other friendship. Just a casual text. Hey, how's your day going? Did anything happen? Keeping up with, a lot of our buddies are involved in other things, so asking them about their extracurricular activities that they're doing.
And that seems so simple sometimes, just a phone call or text.
Exactly.
But what does it do for the Best Buddy?
It just gives them, like I said, the confidence that someone cares about them.
Other than mom and dad.
Yeah, someone's interested in their life, and they have someone other than mom and dad or teacher boss to talk to and tell them, what excites them, what they want to get out and do, and stuff like that.
You mentioned that the Houston chapter is about to get the jobs program going on. What else does Houston do here?
So Houston, like I said, we have our friendship programs. Okay. We're just getting into elementary schools, but we have middle, high school, and college programs.
That's great.
We do have an ambassador program, which I oversee, and that's for our buddies and peer buddies who are really interested in getting out there and advocating for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So with them, we do a lot of speech coaching. So they get out and they talk to the community about why it's important for them to have jobs, or
the buddy talks, the best.
Yeah. So we get out there and give them speech opportunities for them to let their voice be heard. So there will be a couple of them speaking at Friendship Walk, telling them what Best Buddies has done for them. And why it's important for Best Buddies to be
Casey, how can we get involved? Let's say we're not in elementary school or high school or college, but we still want to be involved. What would you say for the general public, adults?
I would say with our Friendship Walk coming up, that's the greatest way to get involved. You can make a community team, you can join a school team, you can come out to the Friendship Walk on April 21st. It's a completely free event. You just have to register, but come out and celebrate with us. That's really the best day to see our mission in action, to see our kids, really celebrate what they've worked for all year.
And you're a nonprofit organization.
We are a nonprofit.
So we can write a check.
Yes, you can, and it's tax deductible.
And you have galas too, like a fundraiser
Yes,
gala?
we do have a gala in November. It's normally the second or third week, but that was actually super awesome. We raised over $200,000 this year. And what's great about Best Buddies is that even though we are an international organization, we're very grassroots.
Okay.
So all money that we're raising here in Houston, it stays in Houston.
That's
it goes
great.
to support our programs here and to further advance, our expansion into other
Casey,
schools.
thank you
and
so much
programs.
for telling us about Best Buddies.
Thank you so much for having me today, Mary.
Coming up next, we'll take a trip around the world to Southeast Asia and visit a young scholar from there who's now studying here at HCC. Stay with us.
Houston Community College and Apple are teaming to bring iOS coding to everyone, creating opportunities in the app economy. Our cutting-edge iOS coding and design program teaches students to make apps that can make all of our lives easier. Open to all, benefiting everyone. Our partnership with Apple moves HCC to the front of the class in teaching app design. This innovation is one more reason why we are Houston's community college.
The construction COE is like a big umbrella. We have several disciplines goes underneath it. Construction technology, plumbing, heating, ventilation and air conditioning, industrial electricity, and solar technology.
The students are excited to be a part of this program because they realize that it is positioning them to outshine the competition.
At the Houston Community College, we focus on the future. The transition of the students from Houston Community College to the workplace, it will be seamless.
The Business Center of Excellence is made up of 8 major programs of study. Each of these programs provides you with the knowledge, skills, and abilities needed in the workplace. Come join us. We are open for business.
Our next guest is from the world's largest island country located between the Indian and Pacific Oceans, Indonesia. This archipelago lies across the equator and spans a distance equivalent to 1/8 of the Earth's circumference. Natalis Maya Bria is from Indonesia. She's here at HCC on a special international program that seeks the best and brightest young people, and she's studying entrepreneurship. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thanks for
I'm
coming.
so glad to have me here.
You have a beautiful costume on. It's your
you.
native dress, right?
Yes,
Can you tell me a little bit about what you're wearing?
So I'm wearing this is like a modern clothes and then combine it with the traditional weaving clothes.
So the beaded is machine made, that's very modern.
Yes, very modern, and then we combine it with the traditional weaving clothes. We call it ties in our town.
And it's hand woven?
Yes, it's hand woven.
And the pattern is very traditional, the design, right?
Exactly. And then it took a bit long time to produce one like this. It depends on the size.
Okay.
So it's mostly take 3 until 6 months to
3 to
have
6
one.
months to weave one skirt?
Yeah, it depends on the pattern. If more difficult, then it takes time to produce.
So are they
one.
using these wooden looms? They go back and forth by hand. It's not
Yes.
this machine thing going on.
Yes, no
And what
machine
kind of
thing.
material is that? Is that cotton?
Yes, it's cotton, and then the color also we use traditional color. We even use to make black color. We use mud to
Really?
do that, but it's taking 2 weeks to produce that. You put on the mat, and then you dry it, and then 3 days later you do that again. You do that until
So it's
you
natural material
Yes,
to dye.
yes, with
What
the
about the red? Does that come from beets or something? Vegetables?
Yes,
or
we using how do I call this in English?
a vegetable?
Yes, leaves and then mangoes, skin as well to do that.
And then you just sort of mix it up and get the dye.
Yes, yes.
So all the dye is from natural
Yes,
ingredients.
yes,
That's very
ingredients.
nice.
Exactly.
That's great.
Thank
And then tell me
you.
about your headdress.
This
crown.
is different for each town.
Okay.
It depends on the culture. This one is not for my town, but this is from Rote Island.
Okay.
So people use something like this on their wedding day or on engagement day to show that respect to the woman, because the woman is a mother of
So
the
all the
sons.
guests of the wedding would be wearing, the women would be wearing
it's
something
not
like this? Or just the bride?
just the bride.
Just the bride.
Yes,
okay.
just the bride.
Very nice. And now you are from Timor, the island of Timor.
Yes.
Tell me about your hometown and what's it like.
It's really beautiful. Even though I'm not, in my island, it's the border island, the border town between Indonesia and East Timor. So we are so diverse. We have many other islands come to our town and then have some job there and then live there. So
Is
it's
it
a
mainly
pretty town.
tourism there too?
Yes, yes, because we have a border area between East Timor. Usually we have a cross-border culture.
Okay.
So the East Timor will come to our place, or we go to the East Timor place.
Now, I read somewhere that Indonesia has 700 languages.
Yes, it's 700, and it depends on the...
And 17,000 islands?
Yes, 17,000.
And how many languages do you speak?
Islands. I speak I think 3.
3?
Yes,
okay.
3. I mean, like, if I combine it like Indonesian and my own language, which is we call Tetun language, and then English.
So say thank you in your own language.
Thank you. Terima kasih Wain. Like I combine it with Indonesian language.
Or just say it in Indonesian.
Terima kasih, and Wain means that in my language.
So you just say them both all? Okay.
Yes, so we combine these 2 languages.
So people do that all the time, they combine?
Well, if I speak with my father, my parents, then I totally use my own language. But if like sometimes we combine it with Indonesian language as well.
Okay, let's talk about your studies here at HCC. You're studying entrepreneurship. What are you learning?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
I learned, you know, basically I don't have like a business background because I graduated from, my bachelor is education.
Okay.
So this is kind of new for me, the subjects, the course, but like in my country I work as in the business field.
Okay.
So like what kind of adapt to the courses here. So like I learn about accounting, and I learn about how to make a business plan, and you know, I decided to go back to my country to like open my business. So being a business owner, you need all those courses.
And you want to open up and launch your own dress line, is that right?
Yes,
Tell me about
yes,
that.
hopefully. And I was planning like in our country right now, especially in my town, the government have a policy to like, you know, maintain the culture by wearing the traditional attire.
Okay.
But recently I like, you know, I really like to mix and match the clothes. So when I say like, if we just use it as like traditional attire, it's kind of like boring sometimes. So how if we make it modern? So we're not wearing it traditionally, but we wear it like modern way, in a modern way.
So you're designing modern dress, things you'd wear to the office 9 to 5, but using very traditional patterns and materials, is that right?
So like if dress like you
like
wear,
this,
we can use this, and then we make it like so modern, and then the suit as well. So people go to the office, sometimes they use like traditional because we have like they really traditional, and they like still traditional but in a modern design.
Well, send me the link when you get your business started, okay? And I can do some shopping from Indonesia, okay?
Oh, I'm glad you'll be my customer.
Okay,
then.
Thank you so much, and best
Thank
of
you
luck
so
in your
much.
studies here.
Thank you so much.
Coming up next, a young man whose dream is to drive for the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing. He'll tell us why the thrill of competing at 200 miles an hour is something he seeks. Don't go away.
An engineering career is a wonderful career. The HEC Engineering Center of Excellence created a new degree which allows students to take the first 2 years of a 4-year engineering program here at ACC, and then they transfer to an upper division college. Total tuition costs for that 4-year degree is under $20,000. More than 1 million engineers will be retiring over the next 10 years. We need to educate the next generation of engineers, not just for Houston or Texas, but for the country.
The Logistics Center of Excellence has 2 programs, one of which is the Logistics and Global Supply Chain Management program, as well as the Maritime Specialization. Any student entering the Logistics program here at Houston Community College will walk away with the knowledge needed relevant to industry, because our industry partners are engaged in our program to help us develop it to ensure that when our students walk away from here, they can get those jobs.
To pose, now sure. She makes the sound seem, makes me deep in the North Sea.
Our next guest started racing go-karts at the young age of 9 and has since then gone on to win many awards as a race car driver. Nikko Reger is a 19-year-old Chinese-German-American who attends the University of Texas at Dallas, and his dream is to become a NASCAR driver representing Chinese-American people. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Okay, you started at the age of 9 racing go-karts. First of all, how did you convince Mom it was okay to race a go-kart at the age of 9?
It is kind of weird, and we had already kind of done some dirt biking, but whenever my brother and I had went into our first go-kart race, he won first and I won second. He'll still hold that over my head. Yeah, we realized we were so fast, and I think we really wanted to explore the potential, and my parents have been so great about believing in my brother and I and our ability to race that it hasn't really taken too much convincing. They know we can win.
And when you race, you have to wear a lot of gear like this. Tell me about what you wear and the preparation for safety.
Yeah, so the safety in racing is very important to us. That hood that I was wearing, that's actually a fireproof hood. And then on top of that goes a 5-layer helmet. And then there's a 5-layer fireproof suit that you wear with another group of like undergarments underneath that. Then you have gloves, a neck brace that connects to the helmet, and then a 6-point harness that goes over it all to keep you in the car.
So a lot of safety.
Yeah,
and that's because it's a really dangerous sport, basically.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
So what attracts you to a race car drive besides the speed? Because I know all young men like to drive fast cars, right?
I think it's not just driving fast. I think it's knowing I can control something that should be out of control, and there's such a competition to it that's so unique to racing. I believe that. I mean, I think I'm just always pushing myself in a race car, and it's hard to do that on a daily basis.
That's you in that car, right?
Yeah, that would be me. This is the start of a race.
Okay.
And it's just chaos. There's cars everywhere.
Oh my goodness, you have to just like weave in between all
you
these
have
cars.
to-
There's not like everybody stay in your own lane and who gets there first wins.
Yeah,
It's not that, right?
People are braking everywhere. There's cars. Occasionally, they'll bump into you. I think they'll rub your door.
So you can go in any lane, whatever you can get,
Yeah,
wherever you can muscle your
it's
way.
open, you know, if you go off track and.
Okay, so how fast are you going in these kind of races? Like here, about how
around
fast?
here, you're maybe doing. I believe this next turn, my average speed was 90 miles an hour in the middle of the turn. So.
Oh my goodness.
On the straightaways, we'll be doing 120, 130 miles an hour on the smaller tracks. So.
Okay, so Nikko, one false move, one slight turn of the steering wheel the wrong way, you
And
could
I would
hit
hit
a
a
wall, or you could hit another car.
Yeah, either or.
So it takes a lot of intense concentration, what you're doing,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
How do you prepare mentally for a race like that?
Mentally, first you got to eat right. This starts a month before.
So nutrition is important.
Nutrition is
what do
very
you eat?
important to me. I really try and cut out sugars, never soda, nothing like that.
Whole foods.
Definitely on the day of, I focus a lot on like healthy proteins, like walnuts and stuff like that, fruits.
Okay.
But then after that, you really want to like kind of visualize what you're gonna do.
So you visualize the track in your head?
Yeah, I'll visualize the track where I want to go from the start because I know my position and I know what cars and what drivers are around me. So I kind of visualize.
So you know your competitors then?
Yeah.
And you know what they're going to do and their typical moves?
Yeah, kind of a little bit of that, but like I know how some people like to drive in relation to others. So you just kind of envision all that. You play some music, you warm up a little bit.
What kind of music do you play?
Kind of everything. I love rock, rap, and kind of.
So you're not playing comedy music, you're playing music with the beat that gets you
Yeah,
going, right?
I'm trying to get going, and I'll
Oh my
even.
God, that car just hit.
Yeah,
Have you
that's
ever
what
done-
happens when you slip up a little bit.
And here you've won something. What have you won here?
That's in Canada.
Uh-huh.
This was one of my. I think this was one of my favorite race wins, but.
Oh my goodness, you're like inches away, and you guys are going like 130
there.
miles an hour, inches away.
Yeah.
And there's no
absolutely.
like stay in your own lane thing. You just go wherever you can
You
go.
just you literally use the entire track, including some grass. So.
Do your parents watch your races, or do they just want to
Yes.
see it when it's over? They actually watch
Yes.
it. It must be just.
My father has to be there at every race because I
Because
can't
you're
rent a
a
car
mom.
yet. I'm
Okay.
too young. So.
And what is your mother doing while she's sitting there watching you? I would be so nervous as a mom.
Biting your nails, hoping
Praying,
I don't,
doing everything she
yeah,
can.
hoping I don't ball anything
How
up.
expensive is training and actually racing cars like this? It's got to be. You have to be sponsored by somewhere, or you're in a
Yes,
club, or what?
It's quite expensive. A year typically, including practices and everything, in this particular series costs upwards of $50,000 to $75,000.
Wow,
So
that's a lot for a sport.
yeah, it's a whole lot.
But you're in a club, and that kind of helps with expenses, right?
Yeah, yeah. You meet a lot of people. You coach some other drivers. You get connections. You work your way around sponsors, all that fun stuff.
Now, you are one of 6 children. You come from a large family, and
Yes.
your brother races just like you, and
Yes.
you two are sort of competitive with each other in a friendly sort of way, because you have to live together at
Yeah,
home.
yeah, we have to live together.
Okay. So tell me, what attracts you to this whole thing, this race car driving? It's not just because your older brother's doing it.
No,
you started about the
absolutely
same
not.
time.
Yeah, we started about the same time. It's really the competitive nature of the sport.
You like that competition.
Yeah, I love the competition.
And you like risk and danger.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean,
With safety, of course.
Yeah, I've done taekwondo, boxing, tennis, wakeboarding, snowboarding. Like, I've done it all, and I've always been like a high energy, high intensity kind of person. So racing really puts that all into one, and it's just incredible.
What are some of the secrets of keeping and maintaining that focus and that, keeping your eye on the goal and winning? Do you just tell yourself, I am going to win, or I mean, what are the games that you play mentally that really help you win?
Mentally, when I'm in the car, I just try and focus on what I'm doing step by step. It's turn by turn.
Okay.
You can't think too far ahead, because then you'll get like a space in your mind, and then you're missing.
Right.
Then you're missing the turn or something, because you're moving so fast already. Other than that, to really keep my head in the right place, I do a lot of training physically. So I'll be training 5 days a week, several hours a day.
What do you do?
I do a lot more cardio than others, like some other people that I know, but it's a lot of running, jump roping, push-ups, sit-ups, all the fun stuff.
So when you're physically fit, you're mentally fit also,
yeah,
right? So
because these cars are, it still takes a lot of effort to drive these cars. You're in these whole suits, it's hot.
Are they heavy? The suits are heavy?
Yeah, the suits, the helmets, it's all super heavy, and you're strapped in, you got all these G-forces applying to your body, so it really takes a lot of effort, but whenever your body's capable of doing it, your brain can be in the right spot.
Why do you want to be a NASCAR driver, and why is diversity at NASCAR important to you?
Yeah, I think NASCAR is just such an American sport, and it's like so incredible, and like everything about it is so massive, and I think I personally want to go into NASCAR and represent the Chinese Americans, because it's never had that kind of representation. I've never had an idol in racing that was Asian.
So you would be the first one if you keep going to this track, right?
Yeah. I know there's a driver that's partially Japanese, but I mean, it's not really the same. I really think that having a really Asian face in NASCAR could really bring some change to the sport.
That's great. Now, it takes a lot of concentration and a lot of focus to win these competitions.
Absolutely.
Do you bring that same drive to the classroom?
Yeah, absolutely.
I
mean, yeah, it takes a little bit more for me to get excited to go to class than it is to sit down and study for racing. But
you're studying international business now, right?
Yeah, international business at school, and it's similar. I mean, for a racetrack, I'll look at the temperatures that I'm going to be running in, each individual turn, all the details of the car, tire pressures, everything. So when I look at, a textbook, it's the same thing with the same amount of detail, writing it all down and putting it all in my head. So.
And the concentration is pretty easy for you because you're so used to doing that outside the classroom?
Yeah, I think through all the things that I've done in my life, learning something new is just come easy to me. I'm always a quick learner, so when it comes to the classroom, it's never super challenging.
But career-wise, you want to be a professional NASCAR driver. That's what you want to do for a living,
that would
right?
be the dream.
That would be the dream. Yeah. What kind of advice would you give someone who's looking at this who says, "Hey, I want to do that"? It's not that hard to get. I mean, it's not that easy to get into, right?
It's not super easy to get into. So I mean, if you really want to do it, you kind of just have to go for it, and you want to find where you're fast at, and then work toward that. Racing's such a weird sport to get into. If you have to have somebody that can afford it, and you have to find that person that wants to support you and support the sport. So that's a huge part in me trying to move upwards in my racing career, is finding the people who want to support me personally as a driver.
Nikko, best of luck to you in your career. I'll be looking
so
out for
much.
you.
Thank you so much.
And stay safe, okay?
Absolutely.
All right. That's all for this edition of Global Outlook. We'll see you again every Friday and Sunday at 7:30 a.m. and 7:30 p.m. plus Saturday at 10 a.m. I'm Mary Sitt. Thanks for joining us.